like to call the February 5th, 2019 bid board meeting to order. We have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes of January 8th.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial report. Adam.
Morning.
Morning.
You have in front of you the 2019 balance as of January 2019. So your revised budget is $107,259. Currently, right now, you have an actual of $1,615.81. Total encumbrances are $13,500, which you'll see below, and then available is $92,143.19.
So do we know how much has been collected so far? Is that 107 already collected?
Yeah, it should be in there.
Okay.
I've got a question. When did we stop listing the current balance in the account in the financial statement?
You mean the full breakdown summary?
No, the actual balance in the bid account.
Your actual, the actual balance would be your available. Should be.
Yeah, there's probably about 250,000.
You're talking the future.
I'm talking about the balance in the bid account.
Oh,
Checkbook?
okay, yep. I can add that. That's just the next slide down. I've always just kept the summary for the current year, so.
It'd be good if you could do that. We used to always do that.
Keep that going forward. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize it wasn't in there either. So any other questions? I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mike, can I clarify that? Please, just because the question was asked and Julie had the answer. So every other month you've seen that fund balance. Because it's the end of the year and the 2018 monies have not been formally rolled into 2019, that's the only reason it's not on this month's sheet. But otherwise, Adam does show you that on a monthly basis. There's a line for it. It's just not filled in because. Okay. It'll appear again in future months.
Thank you.
Item 2, the transportation group update. Do you want to give kind of a summary of what since you took notes from that meeting?
Sure. So the transportation group met and we talked about the utilities underneath Main Street. It was on January 22nd, 2019. Mike, Jay, myself, Larry, and Tony. Water has, there was talks about water and sewer. Water has the lead lateral to most buildings. Curb stop to buildings has the, that would be the building owner would be responsible for anything charged going to that. We discussed funding sources. And Mike had asked the question, at what point do maintenance to sidewalk and street get on everybody's radar?
So the sewer we determined was okay. So it's just the water that would have to be rebuilt if we did Main Street.
Yep, because the sewer already has the PVC pipe under it already.
Right. So that answers that question of what's there. So it would be sidewalk, street, curb, gutter, electric, and water that would have to be rebuilt. And at the time, the money, I think it was, what did we say, 2 million? That's what we estimated to do it at this point.
That would be for the entire
Everything,
streetscape
yeah.
plan. Yeah.
Going from bits and pieces north to 33. So until we can figure out a way to get money, and one of the things that I questioned I still believe that, we're 5 to 7 years out, and I don't know that we should be waiting 5 to 7 years to start getting on someone's radar to get this done. So I think we need to keep moving this forward and trying to figure out how to get it done. Not exactly sure how we do that, though. I'm going to leave that up to Jay to help me maneuver that. If you want to address it.
I mean, I can address it a little bit. So last night, the council had the first look at a stepped-up funding plan for roads within the city. Historically, the last 5 years or so, as the council's been in a serious debt reduction mode, we spent just over $1 million, or right around $1 million, on a small escalating factor annually for roads. And last night, there was the beginnings of an endorsement in 2020 and moving forward to spend $2 million. So bond for $3 million total for the city and spend $2 million of that $3 million specifically on roads. So that helps to answer part of the question, how do we get it on the radar? That helps all roads within the system that are in need become completed on a sooner than previous basis under the current funding schedule. In addition to, this isn't a Main Street thing, but in addition to the $2 million, there's also a plan that was shared with council last night to step up 7th, to complete 7th by 2021. And that's a downtown-ish road that is important, not directly in the bid, but close to the bid as far as your motoring public would be interested in. And then 18th, the second stretch of 18th to be completed by 2022. And we received some federal funds to assist with that. So $2 million in addition to 2 additional larger borrowings, $2.7 million alone for 7th, and $1.8 million of city borrowing just for our 40% match for the 18th chunk. So these are very expensive roads to complete. Main Street, I mean, the $2 million is not insignificant. That's our entire, if the council approves this plan, that would be the entire road budget for a given year. So it needs to get on the radar, as Mike mentioned. Mike serves on the Long Range Transportation Planning Committee as a citizen rep. So that's one way to get the city aware of the need, is for Mike to continue to voice that, and he has continued to voice that as a upcoming need within that committee and get it scheduled. But there is a lot of road need out there. This new spending plan will help, but it's not the magic bullet that's just going to fix all the roads within the city in a really quick basis. Hopefully that's helpful.
Mike, along these lines, I know it's early in the stage yet, but has that committee or this committee from the bid board discussed the look and feel of those renovations? Are we going to potentially look at changing the formation of the street in the downtown area, or are we going to stay along the same lines of where we currently are?
So there was a study done by Kunkel Engineering in 2015, I believe it was. And it was pretty much left the same, except for some of the bump outs went away. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but there is an initial study that was funded by the bid to start looking at different sidewalk treatments, light and lamp pole treatments, that kind of stuff. So the ball has kind of been started. We just need to keep moving it forward. We have not gotten to the point of design or, any of that. It's just been here's where, in 2015, here's the condition, and here's some recommendations that could be used.
Is it possible to see that study?
I'm sorry?
Is it possible to see that study?
Sure. We can get it back out to everybody, I think.
It's been shared in the
Yeah, it's
past.
been
It's been a while.
yeah, it's been, yeah. It was kind of tabled for a while there. I know initially Brian was part of that group. Larry, were you on from the very beginning, or you came in the middle of it, I think? But, yeah, there's been people in and out of that group to put that together, but Adam can send that out to everybody if need be. Any other questions on the transportation group?
I guess along with that question, so that the 2 million rough number that's thrown out then, is that specifically for just the road and sidewalk, or does that include the utilities and everything?
That included the everything except the water, which we found out about last week, or 2 weeks ago.
And we found out that that's a
Yes.
lead-based pipe, and that's why could be some additional
Right.
things going on there.
You could throw it up there real quick. But
Oh, okay, Adam has it, so we can quick go through it if you want to see just little bits and pieces of it. And I don't know that all the laterals are lead, I think there's just some of them that are. And what Adam was discussing was the cost from the curb into the buildings would be the responsibility, like it is in a house, be the responsibility of the building owners.
Right, okay, thanks.
Jay?
And not that it's free money by any means, but when the water utility is involved, the utility does fund those things separate. So it would still be outside of the 2 million estimate. The relationship that water sewer has with our engineering department, that they also help fund the portion of the road that's needed to tear up for their utility replacement. So that might actually help with the costs of the total project, because the water utility will be responsible for the stretch of road that's over their utility in addition to the utility. So it's not like it's 2 million plus 900,000 for this project. Yes, it's in addition to, but it's funded by a different source. If that makes sense.
And if, I forgot about that, but if my memory serves me, it's roughly a third of the road cost, correct?
Yeah.
Give or take?
So are we suggesting, I mean, is this committee like working with the city on just identifying what's wrong with the downtown streets? Or are you at some point suggesting that the bid pay for some of this?
So my suggestion has always been the same, and that's why we have built up this fund, is to me, the road, the sidewalks, all of that are the responsibility of the city.
Correct.
However, if the city says we're gonna only put in gray concrete and we wanna put in some other thing that's gonna cost a couple $100,000 more, then the bid pays for that overage that we've said, hey, we would like to see to make it improved, an improved look or whatever. Or if they wanna put in a certain kind of light pole and we would like a more expensive decorative light pole, those are the kind of things that I personally would feel comfortable having the bid pay for, but not paying for the actual infrastructure, which is, in my opinion, a city responsibility. Now, what everybody else sitting up here thinks, that's, I can't control that, but I don't feel we should be paying for something that the city is responsible for.
All right, so I threw up here, you had the question about total, which you'll find right here from last month. That was the 239,773. And then, let's see, we've got, this is the study, if that looks familiar, what everyone was talking about. And there's the table everybody's talking about with costs. I think it was 1.8 when added all together. So, this is a 31-page document that you would end up going through, where they'll talk about right-of-way improvements, implementation, even an arch they end up talking about in there. So, and then an evaluation of the electrical system. And then they went down, and that is the overview, but then they went and took some pictures of what they had downtown and current areas of focus for them. So your streets, these bump outs are addressed.
Mike, Adam, if I may, so just for your bid board members that are watching this meeting, Adam has this attached to the bid transportation group agenda system, which is just like your agenda system, available online. So everybody can see this. I just called it up on my computer externally. So it's already out there. Adam can email it again to you all individually, but you have access to it as well, and so does everybody else within the community. And I think the $2 million number from the 1.8 was Max's refresh of 2015 through current day.
And while we're looking at this too, the transportation group did talk about wayfinding signage too, just to be thorough on that, and that it was a little too early to dive into that. And also with the wayfinding, and this document talked about pet watering stations and just pet stations in general, where a watering station would cost $8,000 a piece, but just having the pet stations with the bags is just $200, and then possibly some signage or logo on there for anybody sponsoring that within the bid too. The potential for that. Anything specific you'd like me to pull up on this?
There's one slide, I think, that shows kind of they took a picture of the street, and maybe it's not in here. It could be. They had it on the wall when we had the public meeting to show it.
These are the the pet stations. This was the $200 one. That's the $8,000 one. Just as I scroll through.
So there they go back one slide. So that was a proposal that they drew in of you could potentially do an arch. There was discussion of moving that arch back to Bits and Pieces Point as opposed to just the downtown, because they are part of the bid. Keep going at them. I think there's another one where they did kind of a.
Are you looking for the
one where they did the rendering, yeah.
don't think that's in here.
It may not be in here.
Yeah, that's a completely different document. I'd have to.
So this committee hasn't met in a few years now, but where we sort of left off was we had put together all of these ideas, and we were really close to actually putting up posters in various buildings. I think we talked about putting up sort of a concept board in like a bank and maybe a restaurant and a few other spots to sort of share some of the ideas that were developed. Do you recall that, Mike?
Yeah. And then it was to get public feedback is what we were looking to do at that point. So here's kind of an overview of what was decided as far as getting rid of some of the bump outs and straightening things out. There was a picture too that looked down Main Street of what it looks like. But we can find that, and Adam, if you could send that out in the interest of time, then everybody can see it.
Okay, I'll send that out to everybody. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going for that right away, so
Okay.
take some clicking on my part.
If there's nothing else, we can move on to item 3, which is the Commons Task Force update. I guess, Peggy, you were nominated as the chair, so do you want to give us an update?
Yeah, we just ended up having kind of a differing of opinions. We met, and the group felt that it was although we came up with several ideas, that we really felt we needed to talk to somebody from the Commons to maybe come up with some end result of what they found. We know that Adam took the time and put together a great package for all of us, but we all still agreed that we felt we wanted to talk with them. And then after the meeting, Adam and I had talked, and he felt that we weren't going to get any further than where we were by talking to somebody from the Commons, that they did what they did, and though we weren't happy with it, it wasn't going to pay to bring them in and end up either scolding them or just trying, which was not our intent. So basically, we're back at square one, and I'm working with Adam to come up with an agenda for the next meeting. We all agreed we were disappointed, but we don't want to linger on it. We want to just move forward.
Okay. Sounds good. Do we have a meeting date set, or?
We do not. It will probably be very close to the same date in February that it was in January, as long as we can confirm times with everybody, and Adam will reach out to them.
Okay. Sounds good. So the next item is agenda items for the next meeting. Anybody have anything? Otherwise, you can get them to Adam before the meeting, and we can get them on the agenda. And if there's nothing else, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.